Picture a millionaire in your head right now. What do you see? Is it someone revving a flashy exotic car? Somebody living in a sprawling, multi-level mansion? Or maybe you're picturing that person who just lucked into a massive inheritance or launched a viral tech startup. We all have this very specific image of wealth, but honestly, it is completely, utterly wrong. We really need to tear down that pervasive, kind of toxic image and look at the actual hard data.
We are constantly force-fed this social media myth of the 20-something tech bro who made millions overnight. It's everywhere. But the statistical reality, the average age of an American millionaire is actually 61, and the vast majority of them are entirely self-made. They didn't inherit a dime of it. The real truth is that, overwhelmingly, wealth is built through steady, incredibly patient accumulation over decades. There's rarely a massive windfall. It's really just the magic of compounding and time.
But wait, how are we even defining wealth here? Because a lot of people are millionaires strictly on paper. In fact, there are about 23.8 million American millionaires. But for so many of them, that money is trapped in home equity or locked up in restricted retirement accounts. If we look at what it means to be a genuinely liquid millionaire, meaning you actually possess $1 million or more in cash or things you can turn into cash right now without massive penalties or selling your business, well, that number absolutely plummets. Only about 6 million Americans, which is just 2.2% of adults, actually meet this strict criteria.
And when we look at who exactly holds that liquid wealth, the demographics are just wild. A massive 66% of these millionaires are between the ages of 60 and 79. Only 9.8% are between 35 and 44. And that under 35 crowd you see flexing nonstop on social media, they are statistically negligible. They barely even register on this chart. The median age for just reaching millionaire status is 50. It literally takes the typical person 25 to 30 years in the workforce just to cross that starting line.
So how are they actually doing it? Well, the ultimate hero of this whole story isn't a hot stock tip or a lucky break. It's just uninterrupted time.
The secret sauce is found in the brutal, beautiful math of compounding. Think about this. If you start investing $500 a month at age 25, assuming an 8% average return, over 40 years you end up with roughly $1.75 million. You literally become a millionaire on a pretty modest savings rate. But what if you wait until age 40 to start taking it seriously? With only 25 years of compounding, that exact same $500 a month at the exact same 8% return produces roughly $475,000. It's not even close, right? Starting in 25 versus 40 creates a nearly 4 times wealth gap. Once that time is gone, you literally cannot get it back.
So, if the math is literally that simple, why do so many ordinary earners completely miss their wealth potential? Let's talk about the common wealth killers. The single biggest wealth killer is just starting late and saving too little. Now, Fidelity reports that the average worker is putting away roughly 9.5% for retirement, or about 14% if you include employer matches. Sounds pretty solid, right? But averages can totally lie to you. See, a lot of people spend their entire 20s and 30s focused purely on growing their income and their spending. Saving is just an afterthought. And by the time that gut punch of financial urgency finally kicks in, which is usually around your mid-40s, the window for those vital, explosive, early decades of compounding is totally slammed shut.
Then there's arguably the most common trap of all: lifestyle inflation. Look at how sneaky this is. Say you make $60,000 and spend $55,000. Then your income jumps to $120,000, so you upgrade your life, and your spending jumps to $110,000. Eventually, you're raking in $200,000, but now you're spending $185,000. From the outside, you look incredibly successful. Bigger house, nicer car, the whole shebang. But your net progress towards actual wealth, it's zero. Your income doesn't determine your wealth. The gap between your income and your spending does.
And what's eating at that gap? Normalized consumer debt. I'm not just talking about credit cards. I'm talking about our culture's absolute obsession with perpetual car loans and financing literally everything. Think about someone dropping $700 a month on a vehicle payment for 30 years straight, just constantly rolling into a new car loan. You didn't just buy some expensive cars. You literally drained hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost compounded returns. When 10 to 15% of your income is just bleeding out to interest and depreciation, your money is compounding in the exact wrong direction.
Now, to be totally fair, it's not always just about our bad choices. Sometimes there are massive structural hits to our wealth that derail even the best laid plans.
We love the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps narrative, but sometimes life just throws a massive wrench in the gears. Imagine two people who do everything exactly right, yet one retires with $2 million and the other scrapes by with $500,000. Why? It almost always comes down to catastrophic life disruptors. Divorce is a huge one. You suddenly go from one set of utilities to two,
You get slammed with legal fees, and your savings rate usually plummets to zero as you scramble to restabilize. Or think about a serious illness. A nursing home stay can easily cost $300,000 or more, literally wiping out decades of careful saving in a flash.
And in these scenarios, timing really is everything. A layoff at age 30? It sucks, but it's totally survivable. But a layoff at 55 or 60, research actually shows that earnings often never fully recover. If you lose a $150,000 job late in your career, you might only be able to find work paying $120,000, $100,000, or maybe just part-time gigs. Your retirement contributions stop cold. You might even have to tap your portfolio early. It permanently capsizes your financial trajectory.
There's also this massive, often invisible cost to stepping back from the workforce. Millions of Americans, and let's be honest, this disproportionately impacts women, have to pause their careers to care for aging parents or young kids. Even just a 3-year caregiving pause in your 40s can easily nuke your lifetime wealth by $200,000 or more once you factor in the lost income, the missed employer matches, and all that debt investment compounding. Sometimes, life just forces your hand.
So, knowing all the hurdles, how do we actually build a resilient path forward? Let's look at the playbook for actually getting to those millions.
Here is the first half of the blueprint, straight from the data. First, target a 20 to 25% savings rate. You need that for real momentum. Start earlier than feels comfortable, honestly, even if it's literally $20 a paycheck. You have to actively fight lifestyle inflation. A great trick? Whenever you get a raise, save half of it and only inflate your lifestyle with the other half. Crucially, buy way less house than the bank allows. They might approve you up to a 50% gross debt ratio, but maxing that out completely suffocates your ability to invest. And please, just drive your paid-off cars for longer.
Moving on to part 2, and this is absolutely crucial. You have to protect your earning capacity with proper insurance and an emergency fund. Next, automate all your investments. Don't rely on being motivated. Rely on the system so wealth accumulation just happens in the background. In your 20s and 30s, prioritize growing your income by building skills. It'll compound way faster than any ETF. And when the market inevitably drops 30, 40%, or 50%, stay invested, don't panic. And finally, stop trying to just look wealthy with depreciating status symbols and start trying to become wealthy by buying actual equity.
If there is one overarching truth to take away from all this data, it's perfectly captured right here. Real wealth accumulation is deeply, beautifully unglamorous. Becoming a millionaire is usually the result of hundreds of ordinary, seemingly boring financial decisions, repeated consistently over decades. It's about patience, it's about consistency, and it's about building enough resilience to weather those unpredictable life storms.
Which brings us right back to you. We've seen how a major life event can completely flip your financial trajectory upside down. Have you faced a major financial disruption in your own life? And how did you manage to recover and get back on track?